Uh-oh. We're live. I wasn't expecting him to just kind of plop me in here. How you doing, everybody? It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a stream here, and I think there was a festival that happened this last weekend, wasn't there? Everybody, went to that. I'm sure. I didn't. I think the other guy did though. Flew all the way out there. Hey, Viking, how's it going? Probably bring up the comments, shouldn't I? Oh, there's Sergio. Ron? Canadian Maker Project? I think your name is Ron.
That would be Ron, yes.
Yeah.
I love randomly throwing whoever else is here at the intro because, it's fun, it's different,
I did it a couple weeks ago. I'm like, oh, crap, I forgot about that. Oh, no.
Got him. How's it going, Viking? I sent you a link if you'd like to join. Ron, link as well. Hope all is well. Still recovering from the last, titled as East Coast RepRap Festival, now to be known as 3D Printopia.
The most smooth brained name I've ever heard.
I understand why they did it. I sat down with the organizers at the after party on Saturday, and I understand why. I can tell you the Rocky Mountain RepRap will not be changing their name, and we couldn't use that anyway, but after our first year success, I am not touching that with a 100-foot pole.
Oh, Zach Gass was looking for a link. Hey, Chris.
I thought I sent one to you, but that's okay. Zach Hole. Let's see. Link in Discord.
Yeah, isn't his doesn't he have like surgery or something going on?
Oh yeah, he had that done. I saw him at Saturday at ERRF. So.
Yeah, I think he said the Tuesday after ERRF.
No, he had it, I think, already.
Oh, I know he did. I thought he did the one hand. And he was doing the other hand after.
Well,
or it might have been before.
Waiting on his camera before I let him in. So.
Yeah, from his pocket pull injury, just so everybody knows.
Right, Chris Travis. Hope all's well with you. We missed you at ERRF. Zach's camera. There it is. There's a Zach.
There we audio.
Yeah, it happens. Oh, so what did you think of ERRF this year, Zach? 3D Printopia.
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from.
I do too.
Yeah, like the name. I agree with like changing the name, but they could have chose a better name. Like that. That's
well,
like
I talked with the organizers. The biggest thing was they got tired of explaining what RepRap is. Like, oh, what do you organize? A RepRap Festival. What's that?
3D printing.
And that's absolutely fair.
Yeah, I will give them that. But
the crazy thing is it didn't seem to have any effect on your crowd.
No, not at all, because all of my flyers said 3D Printing Expo.
Yeah.
So I kind of sidestepped that. And then it was something about cornucopia, utopia.
No, your flyers don't. I'm looking at it right now.
So
Rocky Mountain RepRap Festival. The ramp.
The flyer
3D Printing Expo. I see it right there.
Yeah, it does. There's a reason I put it there.
Might try putting it like bigger at the top next year.
Yeah, I know.
More attention grabbing, but
Ron, this should piss you off a little bit. I got a Bafang.
Right.
Radio.
Let's see. Since we are talking straight about the thing, might as well scroll down through some tweets and. Oh, look, there's a Rob. He had his Baby Belt Pro on site.
Yeah, he came over to my house yesterday.
Nice. Yeah,
it looks like you have a couple less printers there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he liquidated a little.
I added one.
Nice.
Oh, what is it?
It's a Creality K1.
Oh.
Is that? Did you go? That's what you bought at Micro Center?
Yeah, $200 off, $379. Are you kidding me?
I mean, that's not a bad deal.
Absolutely worth that.
If I wanted another Creality.
$579 is a little iffy to me.
Yeah.
$499 you can get it on their website. That's still
Yeah.
It's getting pretty good at $4.99, but at $3.79, $400 after tax.
Yep. Not a bad deal for
Here's the
Baltimore.
thing, though. The first one, this is the second one. The
Mhm.
first one that I brought back from Maryland
Mhm.
was DOA.
Really?
Not surprising.
So Lacey went back up there on Monday, and she went to the
To
Smithsonian
Baltimore?
Zoo, and no, to DC, and went to the Micro Center up there. But I found the problem with the DOA one, and I actually
What?
fixed it. Hold on.
Hmm.
I'm
Did you
trying to find how to
exchange
do
it, or did you end up with two?
So this is a picture of the motor connector on the tool head board, and
Oh yeah, little oversolder much?
yeah. So this is an easy fix. I fixed it, put it all back together. Because of Creality is using this glue on their connectors now that is insane and impossible to remove.
Right.
The 4-pin connector to the tool head board went back on the tool head board the wrong way because none of the pins are labeled. And the 3.3 volt logic serial chip got 24 volts
Nice.
across the ground and receive pins.
That'll break the thing.
Best I can tell.
So, here's a
So Lacey was like, "Don't kill this one." I'm like, "Well, I wouldn't have killed the first one if it wouldn't have been dead in the first place."
Well, mass producing,
Yeah.
Let's see. So we got Geek Tech Studios, if it'll load.
Yeah, I mean, it prints good. It prints as good as the.
They had a nice display there. They had a Elegant Neptune 4 Max that they were testing. Went to put filament in it, and the ceramic heater cracked. But they had some really cool stuff like that Nuka-Cola. And not sure who this is, but got some pictures with people. Got Josh, Recreator 3D. Oh, look, there's me.
Your audio's being weird, Justin.
I don't know why.
It's fine when you're looking at the mic, but when you're looking away, it's.
I can't really keep the mic in front of my face, so.
Yeah, it's like there's a noise gate on it, and the noise gate's kicking in or something.
Me. I'll have to get a new mic one of these days.
So I am getting the files ready to print for Cocoa Press.
Yeah. Okay. Multicolor.
That's the main tower part.
All right, tripod. Gonna drop you a link.
Yeah, Justin, none of your audio is coming through.
Well, I don't know why. Even my computer says it's coming through. So.
Do you have the reduced background noise check?
Yep.
And uncheck it.
All right. I'm sorry for the background noise. Try that. Is that any better?
Oh yeah, that's way better. What it is, your mic is too quiet to filter that out.
Well, I don't know why.
Your mic is too quiet and it's filtering.
Well, my mic is fully out, gain at 100. So I don't know why. Everything's connected. I've replaced a cable.
Move it.
I've moved the mic. Literally, there's nothing that should be doing this.
It seems like that mic's really directional, and when you look away,
Try this. Is this better? Is that better? I pressed one. There's only one button.
Yeah, that's better.
All right. Well,
turn the background noise filter back on. Is it on?
No. Hold on. I have to click like 3 buttons. All right. Is that any better?
Yeah, that does seem better.
Oh wait. I don't know.
I'll let you know.
Right. Anyway, back to talking about ERRF tripod was there, of course. Oh, let's see. Met Zachary 3D Prints. He's, hanging out, and very nice guy. Just kind of nervous, but
Did you meet non-fam?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
There?
Non-fam was there.
Yeah.
What's going on, Dom? Check your Discord if you want to join. Another link. Let's see. One of the volunteers, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a picture of the Baby Belt Pro for those that have not seen it.
That thing is sweet. You did a really
Right.
good job on that.
Oh yeah, I definitely won. Let's see. Me and one of my good friends, Zura, we printed I think around 1,200 fidget cubes. And we just the guy I was ears must have been burning. I was talking about fidget cubes.
Hang on 1 second.
You're good. And Chris Travis, I do not know if it's a V11 or not.
There we go.
There he is. Yeah. How many fidget cubes do you think we had? 1,200 probably?
I had over 1,000. Easy.
So, and I added about 300. So
Yeah.
that was.
And I actually gave James the model as well
Nice.
while down there. And he had a couple of kids come up towards him and like, I didn't get a fidget cube. And he's like, well, here's the last one just off the printer. He was printing him on the mini there.
Right.
So, and then some other kid comes over a little later and he's like, well, here's the last one.
And all the kids are thinking, I got the last one.
Yeah, I think it happened like 3 times, he said.
I love it.
Yeah.
Capricorn booth. Ooh, Ron. The voice.
Yosh.
There's a Capricorn booth with all their tons of filament. Let's see. There's Mickey and Pooch. Pooch now works with Prusa.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
I didn't know he was working with Prusa.
Yep. He Zero, he took over Matt's job a little bit.
Oh,
Interesting.
So
part of the mafia now.
Yep. I love this Nuka-Cola robot. That is insane.
Isn't that's from the 3 Geek Studio? That's from Geek Studios, right?
Geek
Geek
Tech
Tech.
Studios. Yep.
Yeah. I think you've been working on that for like 3 years now, or 4
Oh, yeah.
years.
Met
He's been
Fotis.
working on it a little while.
Right. Saw Fotis for the second time. He was at ERRF last year, so that was cool to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Jesse was there. We all know Bob. Nice little hangout corner.
Yeah, my friend and I managed to avoid being in camera.
Right?
Like I was checking Grant's video, like, yep, we're not there. I'm waiting to see Mandic's footage for his giveaway, which I should have been recording. My gut told me to record, but I didn't want to be that guy.
Mhm.
But I would have been able to give him the footage. I don't know if you were there when he did his giveaway.
I couldn't hear him, but yeah.
Well, he got up on some kind of stand,
I know, right?
and he's like, yeah, it's fine. And he's like hopping on it and does the whole thing. And then at the end, when he hops down, the actual top slides
Oh,
and
Jesus.
collapses. It's like,
Nice.
and the only thing he could say is, and I wasn't in frame.
That thing right there is wild.
Right? That is the Bamboo Revo.
Yeah.
Panda Revo. Something like that.
Panda
Hey,
Revo.
Rain Motorsports. What's going on? Nice. This is your. Yep. I love how I'm clicking on it and he's right there. That's awesome. I was tempted to pick one up just to test it, but got cool little death racers. Some of the death racers were insane. Got the loud audio.
I wish we had a recording, the video of Zombie's finisher in that one event. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Long and short, he lost his, I guess you would call it a mace.
Right.
So it's like he's just got his car to work with.
That's
him
normal,
and one
man.
other person.
Yep.
And he lines it up and literally uses the front of the other car as a ramp to knock the head off the last other death racer.
Yeah.
It was a cinematic finisher.
Right. There's Mandic and Nero, and Joel's hidden behind Nero, but that Theopoly is heck of a. I guess it was shaking the table.
Yeah. Well, one thing I just found out earlier today that I didn't know before. If you don't get a pre-order, the printer's going to cost $2,000 after their pre-orders are all done.
Yep.
Well, it looks like they had a good turnout this year from the other years I've been there.
Yeah, it was Saturday was impressive. I think they had 2,200 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which was 400 more than last year.
Well, and you also have to remember, I was going to say this brand new layout very much changed it up.
There's a few same things.
It's very different from previous years, because previous years it was like vendors all on an outer ring, and on the inside was the maker tables.
Yeah, actually, it sounds like the same way they've had it since the inaugural opening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did 20 by 20 booths for optional, which was nice. Printed Solid sold out of filament twice.
Well, to me, it seems like they've got a double problem, right? It seems to me like they need more room.
Yep.
Because they've had a huge influx of vendors this year over last year. That's what it seems like. But the problem is there's no more room to be had there.
There is, but it's in a building like a block away.
Well, I mean, there's no way to make that space big. Not like where you're having yours where you just add the extra hall onto it.
Right.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I don't think they have enough people to support going bigger either. Enough like people showing up. So it's like all the vendors want to be there and they want all these big booths, but there's not enough room for everybody.
Right.
And then, they also don't have enough foot traffic to justify going bigger.
Yeah.
So kind of like Earth's old problem from back in 2019, where it was like they didn't have enough room and they needed to have 3 times the amount of room.
Yeah.
And one thing I didn't like, I know they put exhibitors up on the
the top area. I
went up there once on Friday, and and besides going to get food, I forgot it existed.
I mean, I went up there on Saturday and took another look at stuff. There was someone who had a giant, I don't even know the proper name for it, but it's like the funky Rubik's Cube that's some kind of trapezoid. The one I can't solve. But that was probably the coolest thing up there. I know Mitch had a table up there, but he was rarely at his table.
Yep. These robots were freaking insane.
Did you guys see Jim's stream on Monday?
Barely.
No, I did not.
I was sitting on a plane when he was streaming.
Yeah. His kid was just in love with those fucking robots. Like, it was like, every time they turn around, I was like, they're going to the robots, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, this was the breakdown, but did okay. There's some things I might hijack the ideas from, but
just not the new name.
Oh God, I can't. Technically,
I know.
They did their trademark, which I wouldn't anyway, because realistically, I don't need to.
Well, you could be 4D Printopia.
I can't use Printopia.
What they
Yep,
wow.
that's what they did. Yep, that's okay. I'm not.
It's
worried
fine.
about it.
It's fine. It's a dumb name, so why would you want to copy
What?
it? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
I hear like this weird in the background.
Yep, same.
We hear the creepy little pumpkin head cat thing talking.
Right.
Wow, it used my microphone as the instead of my headset.
Nice.
So you're probably hearing the pump in my computer having a hissy fit. Does that sound better?
That robot arm was cool. Might try to get that at Rocky Mountain. A little bit of an insurance headache. But, oh, look.
Yeah.
Everyone
It's
sees
Mitch.
Mitch and I wore that for a couple hours. And I'm glad, I guess it broke on the flight home.
Mm-hmm. The wood on the backing.
Right? It happens.
Yep.
Well, it happens when you choose wood as your.
Right. I found a sword. Wicked cool sword. Metalhead printing.
Is that from what's his face? The guy that
Metalhead.
likes
Midnight
to print all
Giant.
the big.
No,
Yeah.
that's metal. Different guy.
Okay.
Of course, Creality was there with their large booths because
It's
I'm a
reality.
yeah.
There
I'm
were a
assuming
couple booths I didn't even bother stopping by. I didn't stop by Creality.
Yep,
I didn't
same.
stop by Soval. And I'm kind of ashamed to say it. I didn't stop by the HueForge booth because I figure, well, I've got a license for HueForge. What do I need to stop by the booth for? And
Yeah,
then I
but-
find out I missed that cool little tool that tells you the hex code, and I think it's the transmission distance.
Yep, that's the one.
And I'm like,
Ajax was
that
working
I want one of those because that would be so helpful.
on. Yep, you can get the hardware open source, but the software you have to subscribe to. There you go.
I'm currently printing replacement parts for my 2.4 to put a nozzle cam on.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta
Yo.
build my 2.4 Voron, still sitting in a box.
This was Slice had this massive freaking printer.
Yeah, I saw that thing was cool.
Mhm.
Broke down, I think, on Sunday or Saturday the afternoon.
Yep. And then Death Racer's doing what they do.
Yep.
There's the Piopoly.
Yeah. That booth
I mean-
was always so crowded, dude.
Oh, God. Yeah.
If it wasn't crowded, there was like Joel or someone else shooting
Video.
footage on it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be that guy.
And it's sad because the extruder and hot end broke
Did they?
in shipping, so that's why it wasn't printing. They just had
That's
it
why
wondered
we're
moving.
just
about
moving
that.
back and forth, eh?
Yeah. Although if I were them at that point, I would have had it really whipping around,
Oh yeah,
showing
but
the
that table could not.
Yeah, it was trying to walk off the table. That gantry weighs quite a lot.
Mhm.
Mm.
It's a neat idea, and I mean, it has the potential to be incredibly, incredibly accurate. I don't know that that's the right application.
Right.
Yeah. So
No,
one
that-
thing I'm curious about, and I don't know if any of you have done this or have experience or know someone who has, but I see a lot of times at these shows where people are selling stuff that they've made,
Mhm.
you know, whether it's their model or someone else's model, but they printed it and brought it to the show to sell. Do these guys ever really sell any of those? Because, I mean, I know even Protopasta brought those dinosaurs, and I mean,
Couldn't tell
Like-
you. I mean, I've never sold anything at these shows before. I'm more of the type that will just print stuff and say, "Hey, if you're interested, take it. Go ahead." Have the maker coins available and just say, "Hey, take a maker coin, whatever."
yeah. Well, that's like me with the fidget cubes. I printed 4 large bagfuls that then filled. I have to ask James what the actual capacity of that tote was, but
right.
it might
So
have actually. been in the
I wish I had made it upstairs to look at. This was on my buddy Dom's table with Rob Stewart, and they've got he's got a Deltesian, so a Delta printer ish that's been converted to a Cartesian.
That is weird, and
I mean, it's a cool idea. I love
So
the
it's a
idea.
Deltesian.
Uh-huh.
I like the
Yeah,
belt. I
that's-
like the belt Delta. If I was going
Oh,
to
the
build
one,
a belt printer.
the auto drop one. Yeah.
No, the one that's Teaching Tech did. He took a FL Sun racer and then put it on top of a belt printer.
Right.
It's like that is the ultimate
I
way
have
to
an
make a
FL
belt
Sun
printer.
racer. But this is a cool idea. You get a little bit different motion system. And, cool idea.
Question is how is it just as fast as a Delta? And if so, then that's an interesting way to look at it.
Belt slingers are never going to be as fast as something where either the weight of the model is moved in Z or the gantry does all movement. Just because as your model builds up, your mass on your y-axis is going to change.
Oh, understandably. Yeah, I know that. It
It's
should be
around,
interesting to find out how fast could it run,
Right.
So
then you can, I'm sure you can get crazy Z acceleration and X acceleration, but you're not going to be able to tweak the Y acceleration. So it's kind of like a waste.
So you're saying like the Y would be the remaining factor that would actually slow down the machine.
And that's why a bed slinger will only ever be as fast as a bed slinger, because at the end of the day, you have free XY movement. Your X and your Y is whatever's the slowest between the two is your limiting factor.
Right.
And
makes sense.
You've got a very, very fast X because of the Deltesian, and then the slow Y because of the, you could conceivably slice things a certain way so that you take advantage of the faster X speed, but not really.
Right. Well, it's all good. So Delta Maker makes a foldable Delta.
That thing was cool.
That thing's legit. They might be at Rocky Mountain, but I mean
they need to
could
get one
flat
of Mitch
pack.
to turn it into a back.
Yes. Oh god. Can you imagine? We need that's you could fit 2 Mitches in there.
So I found the picture. It was apparently a 14-gallon bin, and it was between you and I. We absolutely filled it. So I would say,
overflowed. Yeah.
I don't know, overflow.
It was overflowed when I jumped mine in. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say between us, we printed 14 gallons of fidget cubes.
Right.
I'd like to know what the total weight was that you had to haul in.
I flew mine in and had two small boxes of them.
So I bought these bags off of Amazon, and I had 4 of them, like almost bursting at the seams.
Right.
Let me find this.
There's the empty venue. Completely
There's Chris.
freaking empty. Yep. Our good buddy Chris.
Yep.
Still don't like the pipe and drape. And then of course a few of us took a micro center run with the blue shirt micro center run.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I haven't been I haven't been back in the States since COVID. I gotta get back.
I've been checking them off. I think I've hit 3 or 4 now, and I'm slowly trying to check them all off as time goes on.
What?
So yeah, I put in the private chat here, Justin, the link. It's like $15, and it's 5 of these 14 by 14 inch velvet pouch bags.
Nice.
Holy crap!
Yeah. So I had 4 of them full of fidget cubes.
Hey, at least you got extra for Murph next year.
Yeah.
Well, so fun fact, I have never attended a Murph despite being in Ohio.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We almost came and got you this year.
If it hadn't been when we were celebrating my daughter's birthday, I would have been like, all right, yeah, come get me.
Right.
See, I would love to go to ERRF. It's just being Canadian and having to fly down and then, getting out of wherever I would be, it would be like a hell in a handbasket because I don't drive.
Right.
You know,
Uh,
so.
Talk with James from Print and Play. He's Canadian and comes down.
Yeah, but he comes a different way than I would than coming down near my neck of the woods.
Right.
Mm.
So he
yeah, Nero. Nero's Canadian.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever met
Non-Fam
Nero.
is Non-Fam's Canadian. I think he's either from Quebec or Montreal.
Okay,
He
well,
said
they're
he
coming
rode a
from Quebec
train.
and Montreal. They go a different route than where I am. Like, I'm out in Kitchener-Waterloo, which is part of Ontario. So
Yeah.
I'll be looking at the Toronto guys that come through Toronto area.
Yeah, he said he rode a train down.
Yeah, there's a possibility to ride a train. It's after I get inside
Right.
the U.S. is my issue because 90% of the U.S. relies on driving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the problem. It's
99%.
I have a medical condition that didn't allow me to drive this for 2 years now, so it's been fun. And now I've been cleared, so yay, I can drive again. I can now go get my license again, but it's going to cost me a bloody fortune to get back in driving again.
Just because you need to get a car and insurance, all that, or
The insurance alone is going to kill me. I've been quoted. My insurance is probably going to be like $1,000 a month.
Oh my
holy
god!
moly!
Yeah, well, Ontario gets charged the most. There's a city called Brampton, which is known as the #1 capital for fraud, driving fraud, and basically there's like an accident a week up there, and it's been linked to fraud and people that they don't like their car anymore. They crash it somehow. They pay some guy like about $50 and they'll crash it for you. And
That's crazy.
it's insane up there, and they drive literally like they were in it's a raceway up there. It's scary as heck.
Yep. Henry is Canadian. Henry's awesome. Henry Lynn. He's freaking good guy.
Yeah, it's just everybody goes, oh yeah, this guy's up in Canada. You should know him. Whereabouts in Canada is he from? There's so many
Over there.
Canadians
The
that are
whole
everywhere.
Yeah, Jenna, when I moved to Virginia, my insurance, car insurance, almost cut in half. And Virginia is not necessarily a cheap state for car insurance either.
Right.
is it the whole I don't know Billy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, but I imagine they're really, really nice.
Yep, that's the one.
We got.
I
we
love
got
that
a
Wilson
nice
Canadians
special guest.
commercial.
Hold on, guys. We've got Steve
guys.
with Hugh Forge,
Hey.
master of the myths, and me and Zura and Zach got to meet Steve
That's right, in person.
in
For real.
person. One night only. I mean, 2 nights only. So, Steve, what do you think of your first RepRap Festival?
I mean, it was a lot of fun, but I gotta learn to schedule like going to the bathroom and stuff.
Yep. Trust me, I know. I bathroom, food.
Bathroom was bad this year again.
I literally never went to the bathroom while I was there.
You,
Just
you
didn't
probably
never
had one of the
happened.
most.
It's not that the bathroom was busy. It's just you get
You need
so
somebody to watch your
engrossed.
booth.
Yeah.
Oh, I had plenty of people to watch the booth because we had 5 of us there, and we had like at any time we pretty much had 3, so I could step away, but there was always someone new to talk to. And
Those
I
weren't-
literally.
Those weren't Gatorade bottles underneath the table then?
Yeah, that happened. No, I honestly never even like felt the need.
Yeah.
It just didn't
And
even cross my
then
mind.
all of a sudden, you're like, "Holy crap!"
I actually I honestly left and went to the hotel and was like, okay, I'll go to the bathroom. Like it really was not. And I drank those water bottles every time they brought around a water bottle. I drank that water bottle, and I guess
Yep.
just all that hot air coming out of my mouth, and I didn't need to go to the bathroom.
There you go.
So
Yeah, and it was hugely popular.
I mean, it seemed like we had a lot of people there, and I caught your hugely thing. But
I didn't
I'm
even
just
think.
all right.
I didn't even think of that. I just said hugely. I'm still recovering. So
This was really popular. That's what
Yeah.
everyone wanted to talk about.
yeah. Someone wanted to ask about.
You people did.
Well, no, it's someone in the stream.
Well, that was me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I saw that I wanted to pick one up. I was like, I didn't see it. I didn't see it in person. I saw it on Twitter. It was one of those things that it's like I said, hey, at one point during the event, you know, we had a brief chat, but I'm ashamed to say I didn't like stop by the booth itself because I'm like, okay, well, I've got Q4. I've been playing with it, you know, and it's like I didn't realize you had that hardware there, but
Yeah.
definitely want to get one of those in my hands put together at some point here.
So, guys that have gone to Murph, does anybody remember the Fisher twins? They had the Ender 5 with the 5 hot ends on a rotary.
Oh yeah. That one.
So they were at actually I'm gonna wait on Shane because Shane's gonna want to hear this.
I've just having Shane muted with the background noise.
You listening, Shane?
Yep.
So do you remember the Fisher twins?
I'm trying to remember. I think I remember the printer you're talking about.
It's the older guys that are twins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Jerry had a table. His brother didn't. But he found the buffer solution. Like the final solution to buffering filament for MMUs. And it's so incredibly simple, nobody's ever thought of it. It's amazing nobody's ever thought of it. See if you could take a guess how it works.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so.
Small tube in a big tube. That's all there is to it. You get a regular Bowden tube, and then you get a bigger tube, and you fix the bigger tube on one end, and you fix the smaller tube on the other end. And as it pulls, the smaller tube slides up into the big tube. And then when it retracts, it pushes the two tubes apart, holding all of your buffered filament.
All right. Yeah.
Nothing to print. Nothing to worry about filament getting tangled. Really all you need is just some gravity. So like with all of mine up here, I'm going to turn them to where the filament comes out down.
Mm-hmm.
I want to measure the length of tube between the head and the trad rack, and that's basically going to be that plus a little bit of the small tube, and that plus a little bit for the big tube. So it'll draw up.
It's Mitch.
Make a shorter tube for it to draw out, and then as it pushes in, I'll actually have the loop down so that gravity will help expand as it pushes back.
Mitch saw me and ran away.
You scared him away. Nice going there.
So
or you came in here and you went, "Oh no, it's them again. I'm leaving."
So you guys wondering why I'm so excited about MMU buffers?
That's a lot of trad rack slots. I saw one of those for the first time at ERRF. I actually got away. One of the Fabrico guys came over and showed me.
Is that the Insane Rabbit?
No, it's trad rack.
This is trad rack. This is way better than the Enraged Rabbit. Way, way, way better. So the problem with the Enraged Rabbit is the underside is the drive gear. So on the Enraged Rabbit, each lane has a gear that is on a common shaft, and when it feeds, all of those gears move.
Ooh.
The selector pinches down a top idler to make a tight connection to send the filament, which if you have any wobble at all in your shaft, you're going to be pushing filament out when you're not meant to. This has a plain bearing in the bottom, and the motor has the drive gear, and the motor pushes down onto the idler that's in here.
Oh.
It's such a better design.
That's a smart thinking.
And look how much more dense it is than a carrot feeder too.
Holy crow. So is that like 20?
This is 19.
19?
So when I ordered the parts, I didn't order a rail or a aluminum extrusion. I just calculated the most I could get on what I had on hand.
Impressive.
But
Yeah,
it's a,
the density is crazy. The density of like versus so here's I've got an ERRF right here, and it's you got about twice as many per
Yeah.
lane.
blow us up
So,
side by
difference.
side, Justin.
Yeah, can you do that? This is an ERRF
Actually,
9. I think you've got at least 16, don't you?
I got
He's got
19.
19. Yeah. We can swap back and forth, but we can't be side by side.
Yeah, hold it. So you're
The only way you could do it is by canceling us all out and just them taking control
Now
of
flip
the
it.
two in.
No, I'm talking to Justin.
Oh, I see. Flip back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. It's twice
Alright,
as
so-
bit.
So how long?
So how does it press up against the idler? Is there a
So-
mechanism?
On this one, you see there's an idler here. There's a drive gear here, and when it gets to where it wants, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get.
Testing. Hello.
You can kind of see it there.
Can you hear us, Ian?
I can
Okay,
hear
yeah.
you. Can you hear me?
You can
Yes.
see the drive gear. there.
Echoey, but we can hear you.
Sounds like he's in a cave.
I know.
Yeah.
Echo.
I
So
am.
The
this-
whole
Does it-
motor rotates, right?
Yeah,
He is
the
in
whole
the
thing
cave.
pushes down.
Yeah. This
He's
is
in,
Oh.
my new cave.
But
It's got
he's in his
nothing
new
in it to
cave.
block sound.
right? You gotta fix. Yeah, it's definitely echoing.
You're in the back cave.
Heck, I can make myself echo too if you like. Make him
Yeah,
feel
well,
better.
Right.
Mine's a natural echo.
I can turn on like cave mode and just have it go.
Hey, Zach, I missed that. What was that thing called?
This is called the Trad Rack. It's in. It's currently in beta with Annex Engineering. The guys who did
Flip.
Annex K3.
Enclosed beta.
Yeah,
Important to know.
Is it Trad Racket?
Trad Rack. So I could show it to you. I can't send you any files.
Oh,
It's a thing that I was telling you about in on Twitter at one point.
I mean,
You're
I
like,
found
oh,
the
that's
GitHub.
cool.
but you're saying that you still have to have each one of those lanes buffered with 2 tubes, which means you still have to have a length of tubing.
Well,
And-
from
and-
the spool. But that's any MMU you have to have that.
Yeah,
Well, you don't.
I
you
guess
don't
I
have
guess
to
the
have it on-
AMS the AMS fixes that by rolling the spool back.
Exactly. There's
Okay.
a lot of people working on a solution to have rewinders, like an open source
Mhm.
rewinder, but that's way too much work. If I can get this small tube and a big tube to work, which I don't see why it
Yeah.
won't, it'll actually be reasonable to have 19 rolls.
that's
Have
smart.
a good night, Chris Travis. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, so I actually dropped out when my computer's water pump decided to explode its bearing.
Oh.
Yeah,
Did
so
it finally
that's,
go?
yeah, it finally went. So that's probably what you were hearing was the clicking of that, bouncing back and forth. But what was the size of the tubes? I think you were talking about it right when I was cutting out.
So it's the regular two inner, 4 outer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side, I am going to try 6 inner, 8 outer, or 6
Okay.
to 7, I forget. So we'll see how that works. I don't see why it won't.
Yeah.
You want it loose enough that there's not a lot of friction, and they're all PTFE, so it should be nice and smooth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the idea is just your length from your tool head to your rewinder,
Okay.
or your MMU. That's the amount you have to buffer, right? So you make each tube like
5 millimeters longer, 10 millimeters longer than that.
if you make each tube that length, that's plenty. If you make each tube somewhere between, I would say probably 3/4 would be a good length for the amount that you need to buffer. You're never going to see twice that much in there, so you don't need each tube twice that. But you want to have plenty of overlap so you don't overextend as you retract. But
What?
I'm
what's-
also
we
I'm
still
also
have
gonna
a Y connection though, right?
what's that?
You have to use a Y combiner,
Mhm.
like a multiple
No,
to
no,
one.
the trad rack's doing that. The trad rack's doing the filament swapping.
Oh, so it's actually only pushing out one filament tube.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Well, no, I mean, you'd have to have
That's the
19 too. You'd have to have 19
You-
pairs of these too.
You have a small tube and a big tube, right?
yeah.
So that's the idea. Is when you're pulling filament, when you're using filament, the two tubes will slide into each other and make a short path. And when the filament is retracted, that path will grow instead of trying to push back up on the spool. You know, the weight of the filament and the two tubes is going to want to pull and sag. So you'll let it just pull and it'll spread. We'll see. I'll have my tubes tomorrow. I'm hoping it works out good. I'm probably going to replace the individual containers. I'm probably going to try again to rip off rep cord and CNC my own rep cord
Yeah,
or rep box. But
you wouldn't be the first.
if that works good, I'm going to put I'm going to build a second trad rack and put it on the Creality K1.
Nice.
Do you guys know anything?
Good.
Sorry,
We know
do you guys know
nothing.
anything about the KB3D black box? I hadn't seen that before. The tool
What is it?
changer. The KB3D black box tool changer. They had it at ERRF. I just saw it in a video. I didn't even see it in
It's on
person.
the floor.
I didn't even see it in person.
I walked
I
around there,
think
but I
I'm.
didn't.
I did buy one of their iWish crimpers though, 'cause they were selling tools there and accessories and plates and stuff, which was kind of
Sorry,
nice.
You're so loud I can barely hear you.
Yeah, I'm turning him down.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Now, Mitch. Say something.
Yeah, it
Mitch.
seems to be like a little bit of echoing. Also, I'm hearing out from his microphone too.
Well, I turned his mic down, so don't mess with it, Mitch. Try talking now.
Talking now.
Is that better?
Somewhat.
Let me bring it down some more.
Their
Yeah,
AirPods
a
I
little
usually.
Yeah, they are normal. I see it in the AirPods, so they're normally good. But
Yeah.
Try it now.
I think it could be the program today.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
There you go. I'm at 25%. So
Yeah, like Justin's has been like up and down and all over the place, so it's just
Oh, here. Let me turn on automatic adjustment. That's probably what it was.
oh yeah, that'll do it.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, they also the automatic adjustment on actual StreamYard last week was screwing up my feeds when I was
Mhm.
doing some live streaming.
Yeah.
So
So I know it's not out yet, but I was wondering if anyone knew like what the rough complete kit kind of idea was going to be for that. 'Cause I'm trying to decide if I want to get a PO Poly or maybe that, because that's a tool changer built in, which would be nice for HueForge.
right.
Well, one thing to keep in mind, I'm sure, does that run Clipper?
I
Let me
don't know.
back
I
up.
assume so, but I don't actually know. I was asking what you guys know about it. I just saw it. I'm like, oh wait.
Unfortunately, I don't. I've been trying to get Chris up on the stream once in a while, but
The point I was going to make though is that since the Peopoli has Clipper, you know, you will be able
Mhm.
to. Hopefully, that'll be out of closed beta. You know, that may be a good viable option.
yeah.
I pre-ordered it, but I'm trying to decide because for me it'll be I'd replace my two 300 by 300 Core XYs with it. It'll be a little bit bigger. I normally only use one of them at a time. They're all kind of like custom upgraded from bare bones earlier systems. So I'm like
What are
one. They were originally Creativity Elves. I got the first one in end of 2019 for $400. It's a 300 by 300 by 350 dual Z 4XY. It came with literally a Creality hot end on it, the MK8. But I've completely rebuilt the whole carriage and all the motors have been replaced. I've got bell screws on one of them with WobbleX, and I've got just dual, and I've got put AC beds on them. God, they were completely different printers. The first thing I did with the new one was I ripped out the control board, put an SKR 1.3 in it, and put Clipper on it. But their bones weren't terrible, but they just needed, upgrades over time. I hated their carriage though. Their carriage was awful.
One thing I like about the Piopoli is that the 400 in X.
I know. I like the 400
Wide pictures.
It's a nice form factor.
Yeah. It's just a much more nicely assembled printer than these are. I mean, I've worked on them. They both have AC beds now. One of them has a machine bed. The other one, I have my own custom 9-point leveling rig that'll flatten out the 3mm aluminum bed. But I'm like, well, I could just be running on a non-janky printer that I, put back together.
Right.
What's the fun in that?
And I know plenty of people that would like to get into 3D printing and could use them. So,
Yeah.
But built-in tool changer means I don't have to worry about filament swapping for QForge as much.
As much.
I mean, it's only 5 tools, I think.
I don't see many Jubilee kits either. I don't know if that got abandoned or not, but that was one of the cheaper ways to go.
I feel like we're not really going to see much in tool changing printers, just because the multi-material is getting better every year, and the ridiculous added cost and complexity to make a good, accurate tool changer. I just don't see it being anything but,
it's niche.
Yeah.
Until
we get to a point.
Sorry.
It's not very practical, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing here is it's a 1-motor tool changer. There's only one extruder stepper. It's not on each tool head.
Right.
So you're only pulling tool heads off and keeping the stepper on the back. So that's kind of their...
There are specific situations where a tool changer is actually of real value. And in most of those situations, it's not actually using it for 3D printing. I mean, yes, it's still 3D printing, but you add on an additional head to do something like, say, drop a magnet in place.
Right.
In the middle of the print.
Exactly what I was going to say is
now,
until we get to a point where slicers can handle all that as well, the tool changing is not.
As far as multicolor 3D printing goes, there are some use cases for it in the fact that, take the bamboo, for example. I can't exactly think of a situation where you'd want to do it, but let's say you wanted to have part of a print be PLA and another part be ABS for some reason. You can't do that on the bamboo because the temperature difference.
You'll clog it.
Right. But if you had a printer that was capable of printing using 2 completely separate heads, now all of a sudden you've got the possibility.
Well, and for me, one head at 0.4 and one head at 0.2 is an interesting possibility. I don't know if the slicers support that or not yet.
That's another interesting possibility too. I don't see why not, because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the slicers should support that already.
I remember E3D having something similar like that, printing a part out of PETG and nylon. Back in 2018, they had their tool changer there.
Sure.
And the other thing too is for doing that, manually hacking together the G code. If it's something you're making in, if you're going to use the G code more than once to print more than one of the same object, that's not a difficult thing to hack the G code together.
Sure, but I mean, for me, there's some interesting potential applications, and it'll be interesting to see. And then, even 0.6 for the bottom black layers, and then 0.4, and then 0.2 to reduce print time, and then have multiple colors. That I have a unique use case, so but I doubt I'm selling a bunch of black box printers as a result of me finding it and thinking it's great. But it's interesting to me. And then it's like, well, do I just get a big Core XY that I need to add a trad rack or a ERRF 2, or do I get one that it's kind of got that built in, plus I can have different size nozzles?
Yeah, and I mean, the advantage to something like my 20 lane trad rack is that, if it's something where you're making products for people to order, you can have all your filament loaded in at once, and then have your slicer already pre-set up with where everything is. So you
Well,
just pick the color and go, And that's
don't actually.
that's one thing I will say that is vastly superior about Trad Rack versus Carrot Feeder is there is a maximum you can go on Carrot Feeder
Oh yeah.
before you run into your shaft being too long, it taking too much torque to turn 30 bearings. Theoretically,
Right.
I can make a Trad Rack as long as I can find a long enough rail and piece of extrusion. And you can get those rails that are like, 3 meters long if you so desire.
I am never gonna load. I am never gonna load all my colors.
Just to say.
Imagine what you could do with UForge, 128-bit color.
I can load everything that's sitting up there right now.
That's when you start having real purge issues. Like now you're starting to purge a lot of material.
Yeah, for one print, it's a kilogram per purge.
Yeah, but then you can just buy yourself that cleaning filament and just put it on the line and not have to worry about the purge.
But I mean, okay, so this is what I got in this room. Waiting to go on to
another room.
Yeah, I had to put shelving out in the hallway. My pet G's all in the hallway. So
let's see. I'm doing some math here.
But I'm not printing for production. I'm printing to demonstrate.
Okay, so, I was gonna say that's all you have. You should see what I have at my shop.
Those are all different colors. None of those are repeat colors of a filament, because that's what happens is someone sends me their entire catalog and says, "Can you put it into UForge?"
So one lane is like 17, 18 millimeters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the point of that would be if you have a wide range of colors and material types, because you can load a Trad Rack with everything except TPU and unfilled nylon, I would think. But that's
it's certainly nice to be able to put more than just, because I often need 6 colors, and I often have to reload both AMS units to get the new 6 colors because they're not the right 6 colors. Maybe the black stays and the white stays,
right?
And everything else gets swapped out. So being able to say, okay, I want these 6 colors would be nice.
You just need 2 more AMSs and tie them all into the same bamboo. You'll be golden.
Well, I have 4, and I could tie them all into the same bamboo, but
then you need 4 more AMSs.
4 more AMSs, yes.
Well, I mean, so another way to look at this is if you always have the same colors in all the same slots and you're not having to move them all the time, when you save a file and it's got slot 1 is this color, slot 14 is this color, slot 3 is this color. When you reload that file, you're going to already have those filaments in those slots. So you don't even have to think about it. So, what is that sound? Oh my God!
Someone's ratcheting something. It sounds like
that was
Mitch.
painful.
When you need to talk, Mitch, wave.
I think he can unmute himself.
That's the LTT screwdriver, right?
Yep.
I thought that thing was supposed to be quiet.
It's ASMR.
Yeah.
It is pretty quiet. It's just it's Mike.
It's ASMR unless it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like say you have a Etsy shop, right, where you print on demand, and you have all these different products and all these different shops. You get all of your filament set up in rollers, all hooked up in a Trad Rack, and then you just save a file, and then there's no setup time. You load your file that's got the model and the color already picked, and then just send it to the printer.
No, I totally, that use case is compelling
Absolutely.
for a Trad Rack. But for me, I have the 0.2 nozzle on that one. I have the 0.4 nozzle on this one. I have the 0.6 on that one, and I may want to do the same colors. I have a couple of, I cannot get another spool of the natural that I like. I have to keep using the same spool, so it goes from printer to printer to printer, because that's So if the trad rack could then also have a hub, what we really need is the central hub unit that can route to the right trad rack. What I really need. We need the material management system that doesn't attach to a printer and just feeds between different trad racks.
That'd be cool. A
What
trad
if
rack
you had-
for the trad rack.
What if you had an IDEX trad rack?
Oh God.
2 carriages
Justin?
on one trad rack, and you have enough margin that you can move and then move it out of the way, and the other one can reach everything.
Yeah.
It's not
And then-
impossible.
and you're, well, wait, but those are both going to go to the same printer.
No, that's what I'm saying. It is you could set up a second carriage on this thing. You would have to find somewhere else for the belts to go, right? But say you had a bunch of margin over here and a bunch of margin over here, where when you home, you could tell it where your first one is, right? And on the other side, you would have to home to the other end, so you'd have to do some
Right.
software work there. But then, as long as this one's over here in the margin out of the way, this one, which is independently controlled, hooked to a separate
Right.
printer, can come over
Right.
here and send the filament to it. As
But
long
the
as they
filament
don't,
has coming in from the bottom, so it would have to Y at that point, which way it went, right?
right? No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying having basically 2 of this. So this, all of
Yeah,
the electronics, right? Have
I
2
understand
of
that
those
part.
hooked to 2 separate printers, controlled independently on the same base with all the filaments in it.
Okay, but my question is, okay, maybe I don't understand how the engagement occurs with the motor and the bearing, but how do you send it to a different printer when the motor engages and it's just going to come straight out, isn't it? Doesn't it come out straight out that end? Yeah, it comes out there,
So
right?
This would
Oh,
be duplicated.
the motor has its own. Okay,
Right. This would be duplicated.
I understand now. Okay,
So you would
I
only
was
be able
misunderstanding
to,
that part.
you'd have to figure out what your minimum spacing is, and then
Right.
you yourself would have to make sure that you're not using a filament that would be in the way, because that would cause it to break.
Right.
But if it were a situation where you want to print with one machine at a time, you can move one head completely out of the way of the
Right.
other, and it would not be impossible to have 2 trad racks sharing one bank of filaments.
One bang. Interesting.
I have a cool picture to share of Ron's filament, I guess.
Well,
Oh.
shop filament. It gives you an idea of how much we order.
Oh, I want.
So that's
Okay.
just one of our skids that we got in from our filament supplier. We have
Yeah.
like 4 of those sitting in the shop right now.
And how long does it take you to go through one?
That's going to take us about maybe 6 months. We got a supply of.
Okay.
So you've got 4 of them there, and each one's 6 months. So you get 2 years worth of filament.
No. It takes us about
4
6 months to
skids.
go through all that.
Oh,
You go through
okay,
4
all 4
skids.
skids.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Well, the company I work for is called CNC Labs. We make CNC machines. If you want to see our stuff, go ahead, check it out. I can post a link privately, or I can post it in the channel.
Post it in
Whichever
chat.
way.
Let everyone
Yeah,
see it.
what kind of machines you make?
So we make CNC machines. Right now, we just finished building what we call the Vortex. It's a 4th axis on a CNC machine. So this allows you to do like lathing type style work
So
via CNC.
I made-
CNClabs.com.
Yeah, but it's a weird way of spelling it. I'm just going to post it up right now.
I'm a CNC programmer by trade. I program for a couple of Haas UMCs. I've got a Haas VR11 5-axis, and we have one, it's soon to be 2, a WIA Mega 5 full 5-axis.
I think
What?
I see someone waving. So
Oh yeah, I'm hopping off. See you guys.
See you later.
Yeah.
Sean.
See ya.
So I'm not in
Yeah,
charge
there
of like any of the programming or anything like that. I just work there. I run their 3D print farm of like 20 to 30.
Oh, look,
well,
we're
got like
getting
24
rated.
machines. Oh,
We
cool.
just got rated. Thank you.
Yay for the raid.
raiders. It's much appreciated.
So
Welcome
Ron,
to
that did not
the Hangout stream.
that
All the
link is wrong. I
It's
couldn't
not
find
bringing it up?
anything.
Hang on,
No.
let me find out what's going on.
We got Steve with U-Forge on our
Royal
stream
Nomi.
getting rated. Yeah. Let's see.
CC Labs.
Yeah,
I
so
met Kevin in person this week. That was nice.
Oh, I know I
I've
did
met-
wrong.
That's the second
Okay.
time I
Yeah,
met
that's
Kevin.
My mistake. I did something wrong.
Woo! Appreciate the raid. Who actually raided me?
so
'Cause
Ron,
I didn't have
the machines the 5-axis machines I have, you have regular 3-axis head movement, and then the table has rotation this way and rotation this way. The
Oh,
trunnion
cool.
table setup.
Dude.
And then we have another one where the head, it's an A and a B axis. So the head does
Awesome.
this. It has 30 degrees plus and minus of freedom. And then the Mega 5, which is a big double column machine, the head itself has an axis
Oh,
like
yay.
this,
Thank you.
where
Thank you.
the tool can go like
Let
plus or minus 90,
me see.
and then it can rotate this way. So like I can machine apart, like say this is on the bed, right? I can mill it like this, and then I can turn the tool this way and come over here and then rotate here. So that's
Neat.
the kind of machines I work around.
Okay,
So you're
well,
using a Makita router as a spindle?
yeah, that's what they that's the idea of it. So the idea of it all is this is a hobby built for the hobbyist, not
Yeah.
for the industrial yet. We are moving that way, but
Yeah, you
That's
got.
Yeah,
Steve did get rated.
I met CNC Labs like a long time ago. They were at Murph, like the first Murph, and a couple Murphs, and there was like college students essentially that started it.
university, yeah, from the University of Waterloo.
Whatever. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's
they've
just
grown big, fast.
Yeah.
just a rotary stage on a regular 3-axis router.
Basically, that's the machine, and the added on, which we call the vortex, is the fourth
Right.
axis.
Awesome.
I just bought a CNC machine.
Now you have
It's-
space for it.
I have space for it now. I've got a 3-car garage now.
Teslas.
Hey, Pez.
Hey, Pez.
We love our Peslins.
But the one I bought is called
3
the
times.
Maslow 4.
What's up?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Maslow.
So
The Maslows are a cool solution.
They are. So actually, Bar Smith, who's one of the main guys behind it, the original machine they worked on was the Make Smith. And I actually backed that Kickstarter campaign and got the Make Smith CNC. In fact, I think I was the very first person from the Kickstarter campaign to receive it. Pretty cool little thing. And I imagine they'd still be making them, except China came along and produced the 3018. And so instead of laser cut plywood, it's aluminum extrusion and
Yeah.
plexiglass. And instead of
Those.
those 5-gram stepper motors and stuff, they're using actual stepper motors from CNC machines, and they're selling it at the same price they were. So it's, that really couldn't keep up. But a couple of years later, here they came with the Maslow. And I thought that was such a cool machine. Now, I backed that Kickstarter campaign just to follow along with the progress and stuff. I really liked the concept, but I didn't have the money. I didn't have a place to put it then. And I didn't quite think it was far enough along for how I'd want to use it. But earlier this year, they launched the Maslow 4, and they have made significant progress on. The original Maslow had 2 belts like this, and then the machine itself, you had to attach a couple of bricks to the tool head.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, the bottom of the tool head to give it weight.
Yes.
I did you have to tilt it at a certain angle, or could
Yes.
you run it horizontal? Yeah.
No, there was no horizontal option. It had to be tilted at an angle that you had. Some
It couldn't
slight
be vertical and it
variation.
couldn't be horizontal. It had to be.
Yeah.
It had to be at an angle. You had a bit of variation in the angle. It wasn't a
Mhm.
specific angle, but it had to be an angle. Now, Fast forward now. Oh, and the other thing, it didn't have any Z control. You turned it on, set the depth in the material, and then started your program, and that was it. So fast forward now, the new Maslow has 4 belts, one in each corner. And so you got away from the clunky brick design. It also lets it move faster. It lets it move more accurately. It lets it operate in a horizontal position if you so desire. I'm going to keep it upright like a panel saw. And it also has Z control, about 2 inches of Z control, if I remember correctly. So you could use it for doing complex molding cuts in foam blocks and stuff.
Plus, it'll tab, right? Because before you couldn't
It will
leave
tab, yes.
because that was
Yeah,
a big
I
deal.
mean-
If you're hanging on the wall and you pretty much had to skin it because you couldn't tab it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was
It
about
would
to
fall
say
out.
that you don't have a. That's one thing I don't really like about the Maslow is it's difficult to do 3D work because you always have to have a flat surface for it to ride on. So if you're doing the 3D work, it's got to be like within the sled, and your Z stage has to have something to push on, or you just lose your Z position.
That
And
makes sense.
on top of that, you have to use tabs because if you don't, your part's going to fall out or it's going to fall in the pocket created from when you cut it.
Yeah, but then there's the other side of the argument. It's a CNC machine with a 4x8 cutting capacity that you can have for under $1,000.
And it takes up a rectangle that's 8 feet by like 2 feet instead of
It's
8
actually a little
or
longer
more.
than 8 feet because it's got
I
the
mean,
outriggers for the belts.
yeah, you know what I'm saying though. It takes up a whole lot less room.
Yes.
And it stores away.
Yes.
It stores. Like you just need to put your sheet of plywood somewhere, and you need to,
And it's open source.
It's a really cool product, and yeah, it's got trade-offs, right? It's got things that you're accepting that this is not. If you want those things, go get a $multi-thousand.
Yeah, but I mean,
flatbed 4x8.
Take it from somebody who has purchased several $200,000 CNC machines over the years. There's always trade-off.
Ron, it was great to have you. We'll be around next week as well. So if you want to,
Yeah, well, just send me an invite. I'll see if I can get in. Anyways,
I've
everybody,
had
have a good one.
multi-week discussions with coworkers and stuff over the pros and cons of going with certain CNC machines for both our immediate and long-term needs. It's just
what kind of machines?
Always trade-off. Oh, all kinds of machines. So by profession, I'm an architectural engineer, and so we've got beam saws, CNCs, point-to-points, automated dowel machines. We're currently looking at a CNC. It's kind of like a pick and place machine, except for giant sheets of material.
Okay.
So
big vacuum arms and stuff.
Yeah, and you would not believe how expensive that is. It's such, in theory, it's a very simple machine, mechanically speaking. Far less complicated than the actual CNC router.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But the starting price on one of these is over for the very basic one. You're gonna pay $200,000, which isn't enough. It's far too basic at that level to do what we need. In fact, it's so basic I can't imagine any company actually getting value from it at that level. And what we would actually need for our operation is $500,000 machine.
Yeah.
So double the cost of our CNC machine.
Hey Justin, show that.
Yeah. Hold on.
Those 5-axis, 6-axis CNC machines are crazy. I love watching them.
So this is 10 years ago. It's hard to say how the one. So we've got one that's on the boat from Taiwan right now. These are made in Taiwan, and it's brand new. So I think this is a little bit older, but we've got another one just like it. It's having a couple of issues that are hard to track down because it's weird. It uses a Heidenhain controller instead of a normal Fanuc controller, which everything under the sun is Fanuc.
Mhm.
The Heidenhain is a weird, like Linux-based. No, it's only 5. German-made controller, and like all of their servo drives and stuff are real weird. So this company being in Taiwan, when the one we have was manufactured, ITAR would not allow Japan to sell this company 5-axis CNC controls.
Damn.
That has since changed. So the new one we're getting will have the Japanese Fanuc control, but the one we have now has a German Heidenhain control. But it's 5-axis. It's full live 5-axis, and it's about 6 foot from here to the table.
Wow.
Maybe a little more. It's a big machine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it looks big just from the video. I don't even need it. But to put emphasis on what he was saying about how everything uses Fanuc, he's not joking. Everything uses Fanuc. We've actually bought 3 different machines from a German company, and they were all running Fanuc controllers.
3D Gloop's robot was Fanuc controlled. The robotic arm they had playing tug of war.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, that was a Fanuc robot.
Just
I could
another physical force.
I could see the red caps on the back of the servos from across the parking lot and recognize that it was a Fanuc.
I think I'm going to a remainder to work on a robot cell tomorrow morning, so I'll have to see what they're actually using. But yeah, Fanucs are pretty common with ABV sometimes, and Mazak makes arms, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah. But,
I know a lot less about the arms than I do the mills.
Yeah, and a lot of times the controllers are just doing basic communication to the PLC. They might do some messaging, but generally it's just like, ready and alarm states and stuff. So there's not like full integration with motion controllers like some machines.
Not to bore everybody with shop talk, but the problem we're having with the machine that we currently own, the X and Y servo drive are 1 unit on this machine with the Heidenhain controller, and it uses some form of bus network to talk to the drives from the controller. That's kind of not standard. Like nobody at the shop recognizes what it is. It's not the same as Fanuc, and it's throwing an error on one side of the drive, and like they've swapped everything on like from X to Y and back. So he's pretty well isolated it down to a drive, but the drive is like $6,500 for a used one on eBay.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And you can't just return that if that's
not
not
the
the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
couple of cool things.
the hilarious thing too is, you know how everything in China is kind of shut down right now because of the fall festival?
Right.
We've been waiting on the company Ouya, which is Taiwanese, to get off of fall festival so they can help us continue to troubleshoot this machine.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they actually respect a holiday and just work through it.
Right.
We just got a Crossfire XR at work, and I've been troubleshooting that thing for like a week now. So when the y-axis, when you run it from home position to the other end of the machine, it runs fine. But take any point along the y-axis. As soon as you start moving back to home, the right side of the machine, or the side, I suppose it depends on how you look at it, the side closest to the operator lags behind the other side. So one side reaches home like 2 inches before the other side finally catches up, which of course means that your cut is all off.
Yeah, that's no good.
No, it's not. And I've been trying to diagnose it for like a week now. And this afternoon I was messing with it and I finally said, screw it. I'm calling customer service in the morning.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
my
Steven-
cyborg killed another Hobbins. That's what just happened.
What happened?
It was outputting 24 volts, but there's nothing going to the actual heater cartridge.
Oh,
And the
geez.
thermistor's returning a normal value, but I killed another one, like it's doing the same thing, thermal cutout. So I think these CHC Hobbins are just trash. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'm gonna buy a Revo, but that's expensive.
I haven't had trouble with my CHCs. I thought I killed one, but it was just bad at their
I don't know,
Mr.
Steve gave me,
wise.
Greg gave me extras because the first problem I had with the Cyborg. And so I have another one, but I mean, it's a pain to swap them out. So
it's weird. Yeah, they are. Yeah. They are a pain to swap out. I haven't had. I have a cup. I have 2, 3 of them. 2 of them. And I haven't had a problem with CHCs.
If I could put like Wago connectors at the carriage on the P0 and just run my heater wise to that way, at least it's easier to swap.
I would like to get sponsored, Zerno. That would be freaking cool.
So yeah, Steven, back what he was saying, where it's just crazy the G code that's going by on that machine. Yeah. My job is 98% waiting on the computer to process G code when I'm doing finishing passes on stuff. It is insane.
Well, let me tell you something else that's also insane, that we're still sending ASCII G code to these machines. Why in the world have we not gone to a binary protocol yet?
I got you beat. Go look at any Fanook control on a brand spanking new $1 million CNC machine.
Okay.
It still looks like it's from the 80s.
Well, it works.
The right. Most storage you can get on a brand spanking new Fanook control, like storage on the board, main storage, is like 4 gigs.
Jeez.
Pretty sure they're 16-bit.
My watch has more gigs of memory than that.
Yeah. Also, why aren't we using ARCs for G code like G3?
Oh no.
Or
yeah, G code ARCs in 3D printers for sure, but all of my machines use that.
Yeah. I mean, just the ASCII serial protocol is pretty standardized.
Well, it's an issue with our slicers too. Even for 3D printing, our slicers are slower because they're doing a whole bunch of string operations. Why aren't they doing everything in a binary G code at the very least and then just translating it at the very end before they send it out? When the slicers
I'm thinking G code, not STL.
No, I'm talking G code. When a slicer starts building it, they're doing all these string operations to build the strings and rebuild the strings. That's why reslicing, when you have to go modify something, takes forever. It should be like that. When you want to change the flow rate on something, it should be instant. When you want to change the retraction distance, it should be effectively instant. But it has to go through every string and rebuild the string to recreate the G code. I don't know why we're not doing it in binary. And then in the last minute, if all the printers still are going to use ASCII, at the last minute, translate it before you send it out to the printer. I don't know why we're not doing it that way.
But the problem with that is that we could start making slicers that make proprietary G code.
They can already do that if they want. They have to comply with the printers that they're going to use. They have to comply with the printers that are using it. So the slicer could be proprietary as proprietary as it wants, as long as it will export to a format that you could use, which is what they already do, right? They already support RepRap and Marlin and Clipper. And
so in the CNC machining world, it's called a post processor. So the CAM system works with its own internal language, so to speak,
Okay.
and then either vendor provides or makes, or the user modifies or makes a post processor, which
Mhm.
takes the internal language of the CAM system and outputs G code to look exactly the way you want it. So the G code on a Heidenhain controller, like what I was talking about, compared to a Fanuc, looks wildly different. Fanuc G code looks just like 3D printer G code.
Yeah.
It's just less complicated. There's less to it.
Yeah.
The multicams did that too. They actually used you could use HPGL. You could actually use binary.
What's going on, dude? Let me drop you a link.
ECDO was like their proprietary language, their internal language on the multicam machines, but their controllers were actually just doing a lot of the parameters. You know,
Love
so
to
you're
have
just
this guy on.
Yeah, and then
Is
there's
oh,
Stopbite,
nice.
which uses their own really kind of crappy language.
Yeah, I think you just have too many standards, and that's why we just stick with G code.
Yeah, and I mean, G code's the oldest. G code came out in,
yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
G
Because I
code's been
think
around
it
since the
wouldn't
70s.
be G code. It wouldn't be G
Oh,
code though if it
love
was
it.
binary.
Well,
G code
feel better, dude.
like apparently an ASCII, or I guess you wouldn't use Unicode, but an ASCII format.
I've been a little exhausted too.
I think it's just a standard.
And the other
We'd
thing
have to
too,
get all
I haven't had a good night's sleep in a week.
the other thing too, part of the reason why, I feel like part of the reason why the 3D printers use G code is just because it's a standard that's been around for so incredibly long. But the reason CNC machines use G code is because it's human readable and human writable. If I want to make a quick program at the controller to do an operation over and over and over again, I can sit there and write the code on the machine instead of having to sit down at a CAM system and write it. If I want to change the depth of a single hole that's getting drilled, I can just go to that line in the G code and change it. And it's so simple, these guys who've never done anything but run the machines know how to read and write G code.
Yeah, I've never actually written out G code myself, but I've gone in and modified it a number of times. And I also wrote a Python script to write G code for me. So, I mean, I guess I kind of wrote some G code.
Well, no, so I have no problem. Well, I mean, like Clipper effectively just takes the G code and turns it into a binary protocol anyway and sends it to the system. But I have no problem.
It's a little bit more than that, but yeah.
I have no problem with the G code being ASCII on the wire. I mean, I still think it's not necessary. I mean, you could support, it's like STL, right? There's an ASCII format of STL and there's a binary format of STL. Just have both. And if you don't support it, then make sure you convert. But all I'm saying is in the slicer, while you're slicing, it should be binary. It should be a bytecode version of G code. And then right as you send it to the printer, it should be converted to as you said, like that's what the CAD CAM software does. It should be converted to the ASCII format of your preference at the point that you export it to the printer and not before. It would slice so much faster.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. There's no reason when you make a small change that it needs to go line by line and recalculate everything. It really could be done much quicker with just a different approach to the slicer.
I wonder if that's why Simplified 3D slices so insanely fast.
It might be.
I don't know anymore if it's as fast, but Simplify 3D was always just like almost an instant slice.
It's certainly possible. I mean, it shocked me when I realized what it was doing. The other thing that the slicers do is what? Go ahead.
So MakerBot and FlashForge use X3G. Simplify 3D used to be able to export X3G, and that is actually an all binary format. So
probably their internal format. That's probably their internal format.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not that like this is a new thing, but Simplify 3D was able to. They were fast too, but I think that's they wrote at low level. But I mean, there was a binary format. It just was kind of proprietary for MakerBot and FlashForge controllers. So I guess we could go back to that if it's an open standard. But like, I don't. If it really sped up the slicers any more than they already are, they might.
Well, there's some other issues that slicers do that So, like, from my perspective, for instance, if you turn a HueForge print on its side and slice it, it takes way less time than if you slice it horizontally. And that doesn't make sense, right? Because there's the same number of triangles. But it turns out that it looks like it effectively stacks each layer on the triangles below it and validates against the triangles that are on the layer below it or something of the sort. And so you end up with like these top layers that have no detail in them and a tiny amount of geometry taking a ton of time to slice. And I've asked the slicer people a couple times, hey, can we do something like, you like a base mode? I'll tell you I'm in a height map mode. I'm guaranteeing there's no overhangs, and I'm guaranteeing that every level is exactly the same size or smaller than the level before. And so you don't need to do any of these validation checks. And we speed up a lot of this. And like, it's fine. If it doesn't make sense at the end, that's my fault for putting it in, spiral base mode when this thing can't be spiralized. Right? I'm stupid. I can't do that. Yep. And they nod and look at me and say, "Oh, maybe, I don't know."
So it's kind of quaint that you're complaining about slicing times. Honestly, considering the day that I had today, I'm sitting here thinking about, have I ever really noticed that it takes forever to slice stuff? And then I got to think, I sat and watched a finished toolpath. I sat and watched a finished toolpath today at work process for 2.5 hours.
That's
depending on your slicer settings. A HueForge, depending on the slicer settings, a HueForge print can take that long to slice. It shouldn't. You can fix them, but
this was one operation out of 50.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do operations, and I specifically save it for the very last thing I do at the day because I know it's going to take hours, and I just set it to go, and then I go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried that.
That's a 5-axis machine, right?
No, this was on 3-axis. This was on 3-axis. 3-axis finishing work. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Finishing pass with a 1/16 ball end mill on a part that's 110 inches by 55 inches.
Okay.
But it was a small patch of that part.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not in the CNC world at all. I actually have a fiber laser coming, I think, sometime this week.
Which one?
It's a DTC 50 watt. Let's see. It's stuck at the airport on hold as far as DHL is saying. I assume it's some custom shenanigans.
So check this out.
But it came through New York already. And so I thought that would have passed through customs there. And then it came to national. I'm like, great, it's an hour from home, an hour from where I am. I should come. And then they're like, it's on hold. DHL just says on hold. It is a JPT 50 watt 1064 nanometer fiber laser.
Huh. Wait, 1064?
Yeah, so it's what is it? How do you say that? Ytterbium dope fiber. The only way to get it right at that wavelength.
Right.
I know very little about lasers. I had some people ask me to modify HueForge to do laser engraving, so it seemed worth the expense to bring in an entirely different.
Modify HueForge to do laser engraving.
To do depth maps for laser engraving.
Oh, that'd be cool. Why don't you just integrate it with? Why don't you just export it as SVGs and use Lightburn? Just have different color.
Hey, Justin, blow me up real quick.
Oh,
that's potentially possible.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So check this out real quick. TPU print.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
Damn.
It was supported. Most of the supports off. So this replaces this. This is a trim piece off of a 1960s Oldsmobile 88. That is a 1-year part. This part only came on this car 1 year. They are non-replaceable. You
Man.
cannot find their replacement part. And it's
Yep.
it covers a gap between the bumper and the body. And I scanned it and then took the footprint from the scan and made that.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I did that for an old car, the Chrysler Imperial, make a horn contact, and that's like one of 500 and something ever
Yeah.
made. I think it was
So there's
Chrysler.
2 guys in my town that have this car this year missing these parts.
Yeah,
So this will
yeah.
be
I'm
the final
currently
test
doing,
print of
I'm
that.
currently doing that with a motorcycle cover too, because I did a quick polycam scan, but I need to learn how to actually convert it into like a solid model, so I can customize it. But that's the hardest part, is going from a mesh to a solid infusion. Even if it's a low poly, it just has to be a clean mesh.
Can you see the
But you did that
taper?
with this-
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the top.
Yeah. It kind of looks rough because I'm coming after it with the
Yeah, supports on TPU
knife,
is
but
hard.
you can almost kind of see the taper in the metal.
Or was it glued on or taped on or something?
I think it was glued on.
Oh, that's what that is. Yeah.
Is one of them missing because you stole it?
No. So the problem with this is this rubber's all dried and cracked and damaged. But
So it's still on the car, but they usually fall off, I'm sure.
But yeah, it's weird because it's a chrome bumper, right? And there's this lip that's curled up, and the lip is not uniform thickness. So I measured both sides of this bumper, and both sides kind of had sort of the same taper. And I'm sure it's just a quirk of the way it was formed. So that's reflected in the design now. So I told the guy I would make him, I would design it and make him 4 of them for $150. So that's an hour print. And it's taken me a little bit more time than I wanted to design it, but
Did you see the comment? Is one of them missing because you stole it to scan it?
Yeah, I just said that.
I missed it. I'm sorry. I was reading an email.
How dare you do anything else?
yeah, no, he gave this to me because he.
Can I change the subject and vent a little for a moment?
No.
No? All right. Never mind then.
Yeah, you can't.
Hit me.
So I'm in this
Doesn't
new
your
house,
house
right? And
Yeah.
I knew we were going to be moving here, and I knew there wasn't going to be a refrigerator here. So I did the logical thing, and I went and ordered a refrigerator. That refrigerator was to be delivered last Saturday.
Mhm.
And it was. Yay, the system's working like it's supposed to. Except that the refrigerator is not working like it's supposed to, because it wasn't making ice and the freezer wasn't getting cold and the flex zone control panel wasn't working. And so I went to Home Depot and was like, blah, 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 whatever. And they said, okay, we're going to send you out a replacement, swap it out. It'll be here today. Today. Okay. So today, and here comes the guy, and they knock on my front door, and they're like, we're here to look at the refrigerator. I'm like, look at the refrigerator? Yeah. I said, you're not here to swap out the refrigerator? No. We're here to look at the refrigerator and see if it's not working.
Of course.
And of course, I'm just like, what? You think I bought a brand new refrigerator, had it installed, then went to Home Depot and told you that a working refrigerator wasn't actually working so that you could come swap a brand new refrigerator out with another brand new refrigerator? Does that make any sense at all? Well, I was in a hurry and I thought they were swapping it out. So I was trying to expedite the process. I took the handles off the door. I unplugged it from the wall. I disconnected the water line. I rolled it up to the front of the house so it'd just be ready to go. And they get here and go, oh, you don't have it plugged in. I go, no, you were supposed to be swapping it out. And they go, well, I can't check that it's not working. And I'm like, wait here. So I go get an extension cord and I plug it in and go, there. Now you can see. He goes, yeah, but it's not cold. And I go, no kidding, it's not cold. He goes, how can I check that it's not working if it's not cold? Just like I pull open the multi-flex zone thing and I say, you see this right here? They go, see how it doesn't work? I touch it, no response, no feedback, no beeping, no changing, nothing, broken. He goes, okay, yeah, it's broken. He takes a picture of it. He opens the refrigerator to make sure it's got power because the lights are on. And he's like, okay, it's broken. Leaves. I go back to Home Depot, complain. I'm there for like 30 minutes. They're like, well, you didn't have it plugged in and you disassembled it. So, you know, it's kind of your own fault it's not working. And I'm like, excuse me? I don't know. I don't care who you send out to my house. None of them are as qualified as I am to install a refrigerator. There you go. And I mean, really, plug it into the wall, thread the little line on. It doesn't. A monkey can do that. There you go. You're going to tell me I've somehow voided the warranty by unplugging the refrigerator? No.
And took the handles off.
And
those are vital.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not forget that. I loosened the handles with a Allen key. I've clearly done irreparable damage to the unit somehow. Wow. There you go. I'm like, no. And so after 30 minutes with them, now they're supposed to be sending me a new refrigerator on Monday. Maybe. In the meantime, I'm without a refrigerator all this time. And, you know, as unhappy about that as I am, my wife is really unhappy about it.
Especially with the baby.
Especially with the baby and, you know, the fact that you need to refrigerate breast milk.
Yep.
So
you're doing better than my friend. You're doing better than my friend. Their refrigerator broke about 6 months into their new house, and it took 2 years to get it replaced because they kept sending out repair people who kept trying to repair things because they didn't want to do a warranty if it could be fixed. And so the guy would come out, oh, I think it's this circuit board. I got to order it. A month later, he'd come out, put it in.
It was a Samsung refrigerator, wasn't it?
Didn't fix it. No, actually, I don't think it was, but. So when we actually had to get a new refrigerator, and I watched a refrigerator repair guy video, and he had asked all the repair guys in the audience to vote on what the most reliable refrigerator brand was, and all of them overwhelmingly said, "Can we say none of them?
Yeah.
Can we pick none?" And so he said, so I'm going to do a video on how to be most likely to get a working refrigerator, which was effectively just get a basic refrigerator. Don't get water in the door. Don't get dual, don't get multi-zone. Don't get any of that. Don't get ice in the door.
Built by the same company.
And so we got the most basic one.
White labeled now.
The ice is in the ice maker in the freezer, and there's water inside the refrigerator, but not in the door on the outside. And so far it's been working, but we've only had it for like a month and a half now.
Okay, so I have bought 4. Okay, no. I've bought 3 refrigerators, and I've had 4 refrigerators. I got 1 for free. So I bought the first one. I don't remember what it was, but my brother upgraded. So my brother, his son went and yanked the ice bucket out of the thing instead of, you're supposed to lift it up and slide it out this way and drop it. He just yanked it out, broke one of the plastic brackets. And my older brother is like, man, now I got to buy a new refrigerator. And I'm like, you could just buy a bracket. He goes, I've already bought a new refrigerator. And so he gave me that refrigerator. And then I spent $75 buying the broken bracket. And so I had that refrigerator for a while until it just died on it. But when it died, it was 18 years old. And it was a GE refrigerator with water and ice dispenser in the door. Now, I replaced that with an LG refrigerator, which the only thing I have to complain about that one is for some reason it is epically slow at dispensing water. Like just a glass of water is like 45 seconds to fill up a glass of water. It's insane. But other than that, it's great. And I don't know. I think I paid like $2,000 for that. I didn't have a lot of options because we were
So
without a
I've got
fridge. I had to have a fridge.
I've got a Kenmore French door with ice and water in the door, and the double drawer freezer, or it's a single drawer, but it's got like
Mhm.
I paid $400 for it, used. Somebody said that it did not make ice, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. They just bought the house and wanted it gone. I get it home. I'm
Was
messing
the
with
ice
it.
maker switch turned off?
No, there was not a water filter installed in it, and the water filter has a valve that if you are not using a water filter, you have to put a blank in it to open the valve.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And I don't even have where my fridge sits. I don't have water run there natively. I've got a really small house that was built in the 70s, and what I did was I put a garden hose Y on my washing machine cold supply and ran PEX tube just on the wall and painted it the same color as the wall around the kitchen. To Works great, works fantastic. Nobody ever notices the water line.
There you go. Yeah. But on the subject of most reliable refrigerators, based on my research, because I've had to buy 2 refrigerators this year. One for my old house, which has to stay with that house, and I'm fine with because the water dispenser is so slow. And the one I just bought with the new house, LG and GE are your best options for refrigerators, and Samsung is probably your worst. If you pay close attention to Samsung refrigerators, you might notice that the ones with lots of reviews have terrible reviews and the ones with few reviews have. So I finally got an explanation from a Home Depot sales rep. They said if you pay really close attention, all the ones with a good star rating are basically brand new models they put out, because Samsung produces a crappy refrigerator, and as soon as the star rating starts to plummet because people are getting on to complain about it, they make a change to their model number and put up a different model refrigerator and take the old one down.
So let me poke some holes in your argument there. That's survivorship bias, 100% survivorship bias. Are you going to leave a 5-star review on a refrigerator if it is completely untroublesome and just works? Nobody's going to go out of their way to write a review on it. If they're having a problem with it, they're going to go out of their way and write a review on it. So you're only going to see reviews for machines that are crappy.
No,
And it's not necessarily that fewer of those other machines with fewer reviews, it's not necessarily that fewer of those are sold. It's just fewer of those that are reviewed.
So, as a
So
counter argument, the GE refrigerator I ultimately decided to go with has 4.9 stars based on 3,890 reviews at the time of purchase. So clearly, plenty of people go on to review products.
how
Well,
much of that is AstroTurf though?
yeah,
That's
What?
the
that's what
thing
I was
that's
gonna
always
say.
AstroTurf is always in the back of my head.
Good thing Bamboo Labs doesn't make your refrigerator.
And I was going to say too, we had my issue's been with washers. So our washer and dryer are in our kitchen, and we only have the floor width for one machine. So it's either a stack, like a stackable, or a laundry center, or an all-in-one. When we moved in, we had this crappy ancient all-in-one or laundry center. So washer on the bottom, dryer on the top, one attached machine
Hmm.
that was so loud you couldn't watch TV because we've got like an open arch between our kitchen and our living room. You couldn't watch TV if the washer was running. So we bought an all-in-one. So we'd have one machine, would have more air vertical, and we bought an LG that washes and dries in the same machine.
Okay.
And in 2 years, I replaced the drain pump twice. Replacing the drain pump involves pulling the top of the machine off, the front of the machine off, the control panel, and pulling the front of the machine off includes pulling the tank seal loose, which is a nightmare to get back on.
Oh yeah, it
I
is.
believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, front loader seals, don't recommend. But this pump, it just failed constantly. I went through 2 or 3 of them in 2 or 3 years. I think it was 2 years. So we got rid of it, and I really dug into finding these machines. Turns out GE and Maytag are terrible machines because this pump is a common part on all front loader washers. It is the water pump that gets the water out of the tub up, and each one of them has a filter on it that needs to be cleaned periodically so it doesn't kill the pump. The GE and the Maytag do not have access panels for the filter. You have to pull the whole front of the machine off to get to the filter.
So I've had a Maytag washer and dryer. I bought it at the old house, and I haven't had a problem with the pump, but
I also have 4 dogs and 7 cats, so
I've blown motors in the washer twice, and you break belts on a dryer. It happens. It's an expendable part, but that dryer and got to the point where it was breaking a belt like every 2 weeks. And I had already gone through, like a month earlier, I had gone through and changed out all of the little pulleys and bearings throughout the whole thing. And it was still breaking belts. Man, I spent hours trying to get it to stop. And finally I was spending so much time tinkering with it. I'm like, I'm just gonna go buy the $500 or $600 dryer that Home Depot offers, and I took that thing out to the road the same night. It was gone by the morning. Somebody drove by and picked it up for scrap metal, I'm sure, but I was happy to be rid of it.
So check this out. I'm going to show you this real quick. Blow me up, Justin. So we ended up getting GE.
The stackables.
This is what we got. I'm going to show you in the picture. It's going to load eventually. I've got 1 gig fiber, and I've been having some weird internet issues lately with not like loading pictures and stuff.
You're in my state, if that location's correct.
I'm in Hampton, Virginia.
Yeah, I've worked down there. I'm in Nova, I'm outside the Beltway though.
Sweet. Well, what the hell is going on here? Oh, let's do it this way. So you see the little door here, right?
Uh-huh.
If you buy a washer that's a front loader, make sure you've got a little door. Because if you don't have the little door, see, LG and GE have them.
Uh-huh.
Samsung has it. Door.
Hold on. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta handle it. It turns out my youngest is still awake. I gotta deal with this.
Oh, jeez. All right.
I'll talk to you guys later.
See ya. Thanks, Steve.
I think it was the.
What's that little door? Is there a filter, you said?
Yeah, that's access to the pump and the pump's filter. LG,
Oh yeah, on mine you just replace the
Whirlpool.
You just
No door.
access it from the back.
And Zura's back. How's everything?
It's fine. Had to take care of a couple of things, but I see I leave and this turns into an appliance stream.
It turns into adult conversations about home ownership and appliances.
Yep. We only got a few minutes left because I'm getting a little teared.
Yeah,
if only we could fix our appliances like we could fix our 3D printers, we would be
right? Open source appliances, nothing would ever work.
Yeah, I would be modifying the firmware like, oh, maybe I want that wash cycle to be an extra couple minutes. Let's see how fast I could get the spindle to spin, like overvolt the motors. It'd be fun.
Yeah, Justin would change the firmware on his washer and it turned into a dryer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, or turn it into a fire.
Yeah.
I
Thermal
will
protection
say,
on the dryer.
as crappy as that machine I had was, the LG
Or the
one,
combos, the
Oh,
new
there is a
combos.
washer and
Oh my
dryer.
God. I
Oh,
want
is that a
one
thing?
so bad. That's an all-in-one.
so
They're
those
not
are
worth
super
it.
nice
How does that
because
work
they
without getting like mildew and like,
you gotta let me tell you about the all-in-ones because I owned one for years, right? The thing with the all-in-ones is if you have a vent hookup, make sure you get one that is vented because
Right.
the ventless operation sucks.
Oh yeah, I've heard
oh, I
that.
don't know
You
how
can
you
only
do that.
fill the washer halfway full,
Yeah.
and then even then you usually have to run the dry cycle like 2, 3, 4 times to get everything dry. And it's harder on the pump because it's condensing the water out of the air and then pumping it down the drain. That's how it dries. So the pump has to run extra to make that happen. The one you showed, that one is actually really nice because it is vented and it's huge.
Actually, it says it's ventless.
You can run it vented or ventless. You have the option.
I was
For
looking at it.
$2,600, I don't know.
I was looking at it as something that I think my wife would like because she always seems to forget she put something in the washer, and then she gets upset because it smells like mildew. And I was just like, I bet she'd really like it if it washed and dried all at once.
It is a
And
game changer. Let me tell you, when it works right, the one we used to have, when it worked right, when you did a small enough load that it would actually dry, you put everything in there on the way to bed, hit start, and then when you get up in the morning, everything's dry.
Mhm.
It is super nice, and it's nice not taking up as much room if you're kind of tight on room.
Yeah, see, my problem is that most of the clothes that my wife and daughter have to be air dried.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, especially in Cleveland, nothing dries anyway. Right?
I mean, we're not Washington State, but
No, but every time I go there, it's like the towels. You have to actively dry them, or else they freaking. Unless 3 days later, your towel's still damp.
everything's moist in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, I'm getting to that point.
I think the all-in-ones, I don't know. To me, it's just like it's one of those problems that money fixes, But I don't know. It's just like an ice maker. Like I have a water, I just use a Brita, and you have to go to a bunch of filters. But like, I've gotten used to just not having an ice maker or water dispenser at my door. It sucks, but
You can get a standalone ice maker for relatively cheap.
Oh, we have a standalone ice maker. That we actually have gone through. This is our second one. But the water, I mean, just like we have a water dispenser in the built-in fridge.
So you said it's a problem that only money fixes. Actually, that is wrong. That is a problem debt fixes as well.
Well, no, I'm very familiar with that.
Standalone ice makers, you go. I've seen them. So I've seen them for like some $70 ones on the countertop, and then obviously there's far more expensive ones. So like GE has their Opal ice maker thing, and I think that's like $700 or something. But that is a countertop ice maker, and but
it's
then
the
you
good
can
ice, pellet ice.
that's what it's they called it something else.
Yeah.
It's not pellet, it's something else.
Well, changing the subject, got a few cool things from ERRF. And Mitchell recognized this one.
Yeah, that's the Cray supercomputer.
Funny enough, we were at the System Source Computer Museum in Baltimore and went into the room with the Crays, and they had that. We mentioned, well, you must know Ellie, and the guy that's there, Bob, is like, yep, I know Ellie. Turns out he's her uncle.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, small freaking world. I know Mitch
Yeah,
probably.
we made the Bob's Your Uncle joke already.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was great.
Is she from Baltimore?
No. Well, Pennsylvania. I think.
I was in Philly. I don't know.
Yeah,
if she's
Pennsylvania.
There's the
So-
Apple II.
One of my favorite books is
Yeah,
called
the Apple
Off to
II
Be
is
one of my
Cocoa
favorite
Press
books is
cereal
called
nerd.
Off to Be the Wizard, and it's about a guy who travels back in time and meets somebody else who traveled back in time. But the first guy traveled back from 2013, and this other guy traveled back from 1970. And the guy was like, use your pocket computer, and he's like, this, and he goes, yeah. You go, this isn't a computer. And he goes, I mean, it is a computer, but we don't use it as a computer. And he goes, well, what do you use it for? He goes, this, and he goes, this is my phone. And the guy goes, a phone. You carry around a device that's the size of a deck of cards and more powerful than a Cray supercomputer, and you use it as a phone.
Oh yeah.
And
No,
somebody
we
who watch
use it to
movies.
look at cat pictures.
Right. This printer is serial number 1 of the original refrigerator Cocoa Press on site at System Source.
that
Anyone
was cool.
want
The
to make
one
some
that made
newspapers?
cool.
I was bored
Yeah,
by
the one
that.
that's
So
so cool. That was probably the coolest thing there.
yeah.
What was that? That was an Up Mini.
I don't know. I think it's a printer bot.
No, that's an Up.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
Yeah, it's not a printer.
Up was like one of the first like commercially available ones.
Oh look,
Oh yeah,
Midnight Giant sawing wood.
he had to make it like 3 inches shorter.
Uh-huh.
That's what she tells everybody.
Yeah. That's what she said. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like you guys were at Home Depot. They could have cut that for you.
Yeah, he didn't want to wait.
Nope.
Look, 4 nerds with the same color shirt. At
What's
my...
funny is that how did we get the same shirts?
I
That's
know,
what I'm,
right? They're all
That's
different
blows me
shirts, but the
Yeah,
same
they're different
shade.
shades of blue.
I know.
Well, to check out my abs, I have that one. The one I'm wearing is the Artemis blueprint one, which CBCC got. I don't know where they got the actual material. And the Repcord, I never seen that Repcord shirt.
Yeah, I've seen
So-
I'm out of here, guys. I'll catch you
it.
later.
All right, let's see what that-
Take care.
Yeah, have a good night.
Printed Solid sold out of their filament twice.
Oh wow, they really because at the end of the day they were like empty
They
tables.
were gone, yeah. And then the second day it happened again.
They were selling it for what, like $15, $18?
$15.
15
There's
bucks.
the slice printer that was brought. Absolutely monster.
Wait,
So
go back.
I talked to those guys. I talked to those guys about building a giant Delta printer.
Right. Death races, drag races. Iron Man.
See, I didn't see the Iron Man, but I saw him at Murph. He was at Murph.
Yeah.
And that's such an
After
impressive build.
party.
God, there's so many
Thank
people
you.
at that party. Like half the
It's
event was
solid.
at that party.
I did not take anywhere near enough pictures, but you know, Printed Solid's pretty cool. Wanted to
There's
go
Courtney.
Yeah,
Don't you mean Prussia
Um,
Solid?
Prussia Solid. Oh,
Yeah,
one
well,
of my favorite things.
Prusa and his brother. I forget his brother's name, but we got to meet
So,
his brother and
Filament
there.
lines.
And
They
the
have
op-
2, and they're getting more.
the operator was really cool. She was like showing us the whole process, and
So
she was really nice.
first time I've seen filament made in person. I don't know if this is going to load. I think it's.
She was running both lines too. Like it sounds
Well,
like
I
they
mean, you
kinda-
time it. She times it right. You know.
Yeah, she kind of paces it, and then they have a third line. I think they're gonna set up.
Third line, and there's rumors of 2 more.
Yeah,
But watching filament be made was freaking cool.
yeah, it's really cool. I saw that. I saw that before, like
Yeah.
the last Earth where they
Earth,
didn't
yeah,
have the
way
line
back.
set up.
Yeah. Now this is. I love the buffer system.
Yeah, the
So
buffer
cool.
system's really cool, but she has to like manually load that, which.
Well, yeah. How else would you do?
But it's
With the
it's
robot
extruding
arm.
as she's loading it, so
Yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
kind of already pulling a bunch of material.
Yep. That's why basically that first round of buffer material gets tossed.
Yeah, it has an alarm that goes off pretty much like for like
The whole
15 minutes.
time,
Of,
yeah.
she probably wastes a couple kilograms just in like out of spec filament because they had a bunch
I'd
of
say a
out of spec.
kilogram. Yeah, I actually shipped back a box worth of it. Like stuff
Yeah.
that's not so perfect. That buffer is just freaking cool.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
buffer's
got
really cool,
their-
especially.
A waist spool eventually.
I got
Yeah.
some of their experimental elixir.
Yep, I've got
The
a
red,
bunch
the
of that.
blue, and the green.
Yeah, I've got a pile of it coming tomorrow.
But man,
That
when
is
it's actually
out
going,
of spec.
like they go
It's
fast
bullet.
when it's
That's
going.
regular speed. It's
That's
that's
crazy.
the center too. So it spools faster in the center.
Oh yeah, it does change
It goes
speeds.
out.
Yeah, that machine's pretty complicated. Especially the laser line thing that can detect the, because those little nozzles are actually coolers. They're actually rapidly cooling. Or no, they're dryers. They're actually drying.
Dryers because
the
it goes through a warm water bath.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna bug out, guys.
All right, there's our rental, our tank of a rental
God, we could have had the convention at that car.
in the
It
vehicle.
was so big.
Yeah, except it kept trying to kill me. And yeah,
Learn to
You
drive.
took a picture of everything. You got your itinerary and everything.
no, that was just
Good
the
doc.
plane, the new plane we were on coming back, which was so nice.
No. Bye, Patrick. So Patrick has a more working printer than I do now because my oven is dead. So that's why I got 4 more at home.
Well, I hate to say it,
And they all
it's-
have Revos. All the Revos are the ones that actually work. So
Right.
I guess I have to get another Revo.
I hate to say it though, but it is about time to end the stream. Thank you to the Raiders. I've got to figure out if it's worth doing Twitch partner or whatever it is.
Affiliate.
At some point,
You-
affiliate to make a few.
If you do affiliate, you can't do YouTube as well. And in my opinion, I
correct.
think you're better off on Twitch. But
right now, I've got 8 on Twitch, 4 on YouTube. So I don't know. I might test it coming up and see because it would be nice to make a buck or two to.
well, the problem when you make affiliate, I don't think you can
You can't
go. I mean,
multi-stream.
yeah, but can you get off of affiliate?
Yes.
Like,
Yep, you can.
you can, but it's harder to get back on, right? Or I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I just keep my affiliate status and try to stream every once in a while, but
Yeah.
it is
stream
nice to
every
make a
week,
little extra money. It's just, especially when you get rated and stuff. It's like I think there's that community with like Liz and MakerDeck and
Yeah.
everybody.
We'll see.
YouTube has just a different community. It's Nero and Modbot, so it's just kind of it's not really split because there's different communities, but you just have to find what community works better for you. I don't think it's worth simultaneously streaming though, because you have to deal with 2 chats and you don't get to use the features of one chat.
I don't
for
have
the
an
other.
issue with that. So
Yeah, well, you're using StreamYard, but I like to. I'm preferring Twitch just because it has all the integration.
yeah,
stuff.
which I'm not good at all that. So
Yeah.
we'll see. See what happens.
I hate that this is a paperweight. I really need to.
You're a paperweight.
I got to build that LDO. So the LDO kit is probably gonna be next because I'm getting tired of that kit sitting there. And
Which
the LDO
kit?
kit's gonna be the LDO V0.2 that I have, and I've had it sitting for like the last couple months, and I printed all the
you
parts.
want it.
Well, here's the deal. So now that I joined this makerspace, they have a bunch of P1Ss and X1Cs. So I can print all the parts. I could reprint all the parts for that V0 kit in probably like a couple hours, compared to like how long it took me to do on my other printer. And it's really like the bed skirts and the hot end components. So like it might take me another weekend to print all the parts, and then I can start assembling it. So I'll probably be doing that on my stream. The other thing is my CNC machine. My CNC machine is almost done. Like it's almost ready to cut. So I'm probably gonna. That's kind of my priority right now because I think I'm close enough where I can actually do something with it. And but now I have like 5 other projects because I went to ERRF, got a bunch of ideas, talked to a bunch of people, and now I have more ideas than I have time. So
Welcome to my life.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe this weekend we can do a CNC stream. Justin, if you want to come on, Zara, you're always welcome.
Yep, I've got
If you
stuff.
have time, I know you got stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be busy on Sunday too. But anyway, Yeah,
All right,
Saturday
well,
probably.
it's time for me to kill the stream. I've got to go to bed. I'm
Oh, yeah. Okay.
still recovering from sleep from ERRF because I
My
slept
brain was
all day
fried.
yesterday.
The last 2 days, my brain was fried just from.
Oh yeah,
like, how
absolutely
much-
fried. I love it,
Uh,
but man,
We don't get enough PTO to like. We need a vacation from our vacation.
yeah, 2 days before, 3 days after.
Yep.
Yeah, because then back to day job, as Zura well knows.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone who was
Yep.
who
Still
Thanks for the
watching.
raid.
jumped in, and 12 people.
Mad Cat, Patrick,
Maybe
Steve
we'll
Poole.
look at doing Twitch affiliate.
Yep. I would recommend if you do turn off the ads.
Yeah.
I just don't like I don't like pre-roll ads, so I would
Yep.
prefer
I get it.
like that's why I set the standard ad roll that they want because you
Yeah.
disable pre-roll
Right.
for the first 15 minutes or something. But
There you go. All right. Well, we'll see everyone next week, and everyone have a good night, weekend, and I get to upgrade the this to the MK4 this weekend and build my buddy's XL.
Fun times.
Oh yeah,
the
finally.
MK is for a 3.999999. Not
No,
exactly.
this is the 4. It's the 4. Oh yeah, 999. Because the only thing I'm not replacing is the actual vertical frame because it's signed.
Oh yeah, but then it's not a Mark IV. I don't know.
Say it on it. The stickers and everything will say it.
You pretty much paid you basically paid more to have the upgrade than you would if you just bought a Mark IV.
Pretty much.
That's
Yeah,
free
and I would have
for
had
you.
it already. Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
guys.
know.
And
I'll see ya.
random face for the end of stream.